So you've come into training and you've seen this little button right here that says swing calibration. It's up there. Swing calibration. Should you click that button and go through swing calibration across all three platforms? I would say short answer to that is no. The short answer is no. But now I'm going to give you the long-winded why you should or shouldn't do calibration across the platforms. First, a very, very, very dumbed down, what are polling rates? So polling rates is essentially the time that the hardware will go through in milliseconds and check of where the positioning of either your mouse or your joystick is at any time. The more time that it takes to check that, the least precise it becomes with what you're actually inputting. So we'll start with Xbox and calibration. And where Xbox sits now, it is still the absolute worst in polling rates across all three platforms. I don't know if it's Microsoft like being cheap, which they usually are with what they put out. They're usually more on the cheap side, I would say. So I don't know if it's that or if they're just not wanting to upgrade or if they just don't see it as something that's really needed. I am not quite sure. But Xbox has the worst polling rates. And that leads to either the easiest or the hardest tempo across the platforms. And what I mean by that, I don't have any images of it, but on Xbox, if you're playing on master difficulty, you have three outcomes that you can get in the good zone. You have a perfect, you have a gray fast, it's about like right here-ish, and then you have a gray slow, about in the same location on the other side. And that's it. Default calibration right out of the box, those are the three good outcomes that you can get on a master difficulty. So if you start to calibrate that, essentially you're shifting your tempo along the line of fast to slow by taking your 10 shots in calibration. I have heard of people essentially shifting themselves out of being able to even get a perfect. Now, I don't know if that is a bug or if what's been told to me is incorrect, but people on Xbox have been telling me that no matter how many swings they take, they cannot get a perfect after doing calibration. And if you think about it, it kind of makes sense. I don't know how the calibration exactly works. I know that there's a threshold, like you can only go so fast or only go so slow. But if you only have three outcomes and you're shifting along that line, you could have essentially shift those three outcomes to like a fast, like halfway slow, and then a like instead of perfect, kind of fast, kind of slow, just shift those three over to the right or to the left to a point where you're never getting a perfect. You're only getting like a fast and a halfway slow and then a gray, dark gray slow. If you are in this position, I would say try to get back to a default calibration. Now, the way you can do this is you can go into calibration, swing calibration, and do 5 fasts, 5 slows. I don't think it gets you exactly back to a default calibration, but it might put you into a spot where you're getting around a default calibration. There's also, I'm guessing, probably a way that you can go in, delete game files for PGA and uninstall the game and reinstall it and go through all of that. And I'm sure you could probably find a forum post or something for it. But from what I've heard, if you're just getting this game and you're on Xbox, do not do the calibration. If you have done the calibration and you're still getting perfects, just stick with that. Don't mess with it anymore, unless you're wanting to go back to a default calibration just for shits and giggles, I guess. But keep it as is. As long as you're getting perfects, keep it as is. Now on PlayStation, polling rates are a little bit better. Here's some screenshots of kind of all of the dispersion that you can get that is considered a good shot. There's a couple of perfects, a couple of slows, a couple of fasts. You have a little bit more dispersion along the tempo line, and that's due to better polling rates for the console. Now this is for a new PlayStation, so the new gen, current gen. Old gen might be different. I don't know if the polling rates differ. They might. I think they may have taken a jump from 250 to 500 between generations. So this may differ with a PS4. So what I'm giving you is just for PS5 because that's what I have. I have a PS5. Now, for me, I would say the calibration right out of the box is great. What I'm using is a default calibration. I have not touched a PlayStation 5 calibration at all because the calibration actually skews a little bit more to my liking, which is a little bit more to the fast side. So on PlayStation, again, I would say don't calibrate. Just learn the tempo for the calibration that comes with the game out of the box with the default calibration. But you have a little bit more wiggle room on the PlayStation. you can calibrate to kind of swing the line because the polling rates are better. You're able to get away with it. If you're noticing that, you know, you're always fast, always fast, always fast, always fast, you can go through a calibration and try to move that curve over to more perfect for you. I haven't heard of people calibrating on PlayStation and not being able to get perfects. I'm guessing that's not a problem. But just be mindful, you know, calibrating every day, you know, trying to learn a new calibration every day, I think might actually hurt more than it helps. I used to do it in 2K21 where I would essentially come in and calibrate every day. And I think my results were actually a little bit more wild than what it would be if I just stuck with one. So if it was me, I would probably calibrate once and then I would never touch it again unless my swing changes so drastically over the course of a few days that maybe I would think about it. But if I was you, I would just stick with default and learn the tempo for it. PC is much of the same. I mean, I get on PC, a wide range of different tempos that you can get. And that's just due to, again, polling rates. I mean, you get here, 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 here. I mean, it's along this entire line. So on PC, I would say if you want to calibrate, go for it. You have such a wide range of calibration that you can hit that, yeah, I would calibrate on PC if you're wanting to do it. You can always, again, just get back to a default. I have moved back to a default. I calibrated when I first got the game. I've moved back to a default calibration. Again, just 5 fast, 5 slows. Gets you about back to a default calibration, which is where I'm sitting right now. And the game runs fine. But if you're looking to calibrate on PC, you can absolutely go for it. So again, long-winded answer. So short answer, no, don't do it. Leave it as is. The calibration's fine. Don't touch it. Long-winded, there's some caveats. Xbox, I would say definitely don't. PlayStation, you can work with it a little bit more than you can on Xbox, so you can if you want. I still wouldn't. PC, go for it. Again, the default calibration I think is good, but if you want to, just go for it. I'm hoping maybe one day Xbox will release not cheap products. I mean, that would be nice. I don't know why they haven't taken a step. Like, they have not improved at all. I don't understand the thought process of that since PlayStation's like, I think 4 times as fast. So, I don't know. Microsoft is Microsoft. But yeah, that's where I said on calibration. I get asked a lot about calibration. Here's the long-winded answer for you. Hopefully it helps. Hopefully you kind of understand a little bit more now about, you know, the polling rates, the tempo, and calibration. I mean, if you have any other questions, you can definitely let me know down in the comments. I'm not claiming to be an expert in this. I know a very limited amount of information about this. I just kind of take what the community's told me, what I have seen in streams, what I have heard from people in DMs, reading on forums. So I'm kind of putting it all together and essentially generalizing it in an easy way for you to understand. If this is something that's just like, which I get. Oh, that's it. Leave a like on the video if this helped. If you liked it, helps me out, helps the channel out, gets this out to more people just so they know, like, maybe hold off on the calibration. So I'd greatly appreciate it if you liked it to leave a like on the video. Subscribe for more tutorials, tips, tricks. I mean, PGA content, it's ever-flowing. So if you enjoy the PGA 2K content, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I hope you have a great rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. And I will catch you on the next one.